Welcome to the Go Big and Go Home show. My name's Dustin Hill, and I'm here to help you discover and stick to your dreams while deepening the connections with those you love. Hey, it's your host, Dustin Hill, the Go Big and Go Home show. Thanks so much for tuning in. And as you know, we're talking about this little mini series for, designing your dream life. And so as we talked about in step one, it's all about really understanding where do you want to go, right? Really understanding in clear detail about that vision and where you want to go. Because if you don't really understand that, then it's going to be hard to actually get there. It's kind of like in Alice in Wonderland. The Cheshire Cat asks, Alice, well, if you don't know where you want to go, then it doesn't really matter which way you go, right? And so it's super important for us to understand that, because then it allows us to map it out, like we talked about in the last one, to really do those milestones so that you can see, okay, I'm going to, this is my goal. I'm going to hike this mountain essentially, right? And then you understand all of the milestones along the way. The nice thing too about all of this, and one recommendation, is to really put a time element in there, because that'll really help you to push for it and to make sure that you're continuing to stay consistent and to actually make that happen. If our brains, they're kind of wired to not actually get stuff done. They don't like to be challenged or to be in pain at all. And when you're working towards something new, you're changing, you're doing these different things, then your brain sometimes is like, hey, stop, Dustin, why are you doing that? Don't do that, because I don't like that. It doesn't feel good. Let's go back to what we were doing before. We can just chill. We'll be fine. Everything worked out before. But, so when you have those goals though, and you have that time element, you challenge yourself, then that can be something really good. And also just another note too, another tip is, what can be really helpful too is to actually just to make it fun. And that actually will kind of play into the last couple steps. Okay. So today we're going to talk about the last two steps. So that is step 3 is to actually take action. It's time to actually go do it. And then step 4 is to review your progress. Okay. And so for this, I wanted to just explain a quick story real quick about, where I had this experience. And so, this happened when I think like 200 pounds, and I really wanted to lose like 20 pounds. And Amy was doing all this stuff in health, and she's amazing. She studied exercise and wellness. She's with this nutrition company, and she kept telling me, hey, Dustin, you should try this. You should try it. Like, it's so good. And I kind of been like, yeah, we'll see, and I'd try some of the stuff, but I wouldn't actually fully do it. But I was like, okay, this is it. I'm actually going to do it. I'm actually really going to go and try this out, right? I'm going to follow you. You're going to be my coach. You're going to give me my plan, and I'm going to make this happen, right? And so I had this plan set out. And so what I'd committed to do is to do 16 weeks of this nutrition program, of exercising and doing that type of stuff. And it was actually a little bit before that, so I set this goal a little bit before the 16 weeks. As I was out and I told people about it. So I told people about my vision essentially, right? That's another thing that can actually help you with taking action, right? Is actually telling people that you're going to do it, because then it reinforces in your brain that you actually are going to do it. And then it also has, some community aspect as well, that there's some people there to help you say, hey, okay, Dustin, are you doing it? How you doing? Right. And so I remember I was set on this journey, right? Had this plan, and mapped it out, right? That I had this goal that it was by Thanksgiving that I was going to lose those 20 pounds, right? So my target weight was like 179. And so I had to hit that weight by that date. And so I had that all mapped out. Amy was my coach. She helped me understand what are the different things that I needed to actually get done in those time periods, right? So then I could actually make it happen. And so having that plan was super helpful, right? It really helped me to be able to stick with it. And so then it was just a matter of actually, taking the action and doing it, right? Now, you may be thinking, but Dustin, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you get to a spot where it sucks, where I can't, I don't see the progress right away, or I'm not, continuing to get there. And that happened to me too. So I remember it was probably a month and a half, went super well. I'd lost 10 pounds super fast. It was really quick. And I was like, dude, this is awesome. Maybe I got a little cocky. Maybe I was like, oh yeah, it'll be fine. It's not a big deal. October comes around and I remember we were up, visiting family a couple times because of marching band. My brother-in-law was going to be a football game in college to play, and so we're going to go up for that. And of course, had some donuts or different things. And then there was also a funeral for Amy's grandpa, and those are excuses, obviously, but those were times when I just I was kind of on vacation-ish, or not at the normal routine, and so I was not eating as good, and I wasn't really sticking to that plan, right? So then that plan, well, if you're not actually following it, then you're not gonna hit it. And so, in October, it just was like up and down, right? I really didn't make much progress towards that. And so it was beginning of November, get back home kind of in the groove of thing. It's like, oh shoot, I'm like, this is getting close, man. Like I said, by Thanksgiving, now it's like 3 weeks away. Like I got to really make sure I do this. And so then, one of the things for me that really helped in that situation is because I noticed that it didn't seem like it wasn't the plan, right? The plan was working fine, right? So what, I guess, as I'm talking about this too, like I was reviewing my progress. And so what was I doing? I was measuring myself by weighing myself every single day, right? So every single day I was making sure that I knew at least where I stood, even if I didn't make progress that day or that week, that I knew where I stood and where I was going. That maybe was part of the problem when I was out of town, is I wasn't, being able to review what was going on. But when I got back to November, I was kind of like, dude, this is getting pretty serious. I'm getting close to the end, and I'm not there yet. Like I thought I'd already be there because I was doing so good in the beginning. And so I remember though thinking, I have this thought come that I was like, I think honestly, it's more about, I think it's my mindset that's got to change, right? I have to change that mindset. And so, again, in some of those those review moments of like, I wonder what's different. Cause I think what had happened too is I'd been back for a couple weeks, the end of October, and then I still wasn't seeing progress. So it was like, okay, well, it can't just be that I was out of town, right? Because that doesn't really make sense. And so then I go on to think, okay, it must be my mindset. I got to really get back on track and believe that I can make this happen, and really tell myself that I can do it. And so I remember thinking that, and I was like, I need to come up with a phrase that I can remember, right? In the moment when I'm just going to go eat food or just do something that's not going to help me towards my goal. And so I had this, mantra of, food is fuel, right? Like eat to live, don't live to eat, right? Yeah, that's how it goes. I always feel like I'm saying it wrong. But that's what I said. So then whenever I'd open the fridge, it was like eat to live, right? And I was like, okay, yeah. Remember that goal? Yeah. Okay, Dustin, this is the goal we're going towards. So don't mess this up. Right. So then I continued to do that. And then, I ended up hitting that goal, a little bit before. I think it was like, a few days or a week before actually. So it was like kind of awesome how it all worked. Yes, sweet. I did it, and so again, that's really, I think, a good example, hopefully, that you can see of different steps along the way of how you can actually make this happen. So this, obviously we're talking about like your dream life. But it can apply to anything as well, like this type of framework to really achieve something that you want to achieve. And so let's just kind of walk through that again. So with this weight loss goal, right, what it was is first I understood where I wanted to go, right? Okay, I wanted to lose those 20 pounds. I wanted to make that happen. As I got into it, I was like, okay, I need to have a plan. Right. So I had my coach, Amy, wonderful wife, that she was able to help me to have a specific plan that I could follow every single day throughout the week to then be able to do that. And I will say too, like, as I went through this, it wasn't always easy. Obviously, like there was ups and downs. There's also days where I did not want to do what Amy had planned for me, like doing a cleanse where you do 2 days in a row where you give yourself, a minimal amount of calories so you can actually make it happen. I'm just like, I didn't want to do those days, but I did it, and it obviously paid off, but again, so we understood where I wanted to go, had that plan, had a coach to help me go through that. Then step 3 of actually just taking action, right? So I took the action, the beginning, like many times in anything that we do, it's like, it can be easy. It's like, oh, we're just fired up. We have that amazing feeling that, yeah, we're going to make this happen. And then, things happen where, oh, well, maybe you get complacent. Maybe you think, oh, it's going to be fine. That's why it's super important to continue to review the goal. And so, like I said, I was weighing in every day. Also this app that would basically calculate where I should be. I think it's called Stride. I'll have to look it up, but it would prompt me every day. Hey, what did you weigh in at today? And then it would tell me like if I was ahead or behind my goal. So that was super helpful as well, again, to be able to review that. But then, as you saw that as well, as I was able to review, the actual like what I was struggling with, because that's the thing. Things are going to come up when you're working towards that goal. You're going to have things that come up that you don't really know, like, okay, but what, like I'm continuing to do these things. I saw progress before or whatever, but it's not quite working. Right. So what do I need to do? There's likely things that you know what to do, right? You have, like, for me, it was like, I think it's my mindset. That's the thing I got to change. So I had to change that, and immediately it worked, right? But there's times when maybe you don't know the answer, right? Maybe you need to seek help. Maybe you need to talk to a friend. Maybe there's a coach. Maybe there's a book. Maybe there's other training that you can look at to continue to say, okay, I've tried this and this. I'm making progress, but I'm not going to hit that. So I gotta change and figure some other things out. And so that's really, that's it. And then you can really hit that. And so I encourage you to, hopefully you've been able to follow along with this and be able to set up your dream life, really understand where is that you want to go, and then to set up that plan, and then to actually take action and review your progress. And so if you have, then I encourage you to continue to take progress, right? Figure out what are you going to be doing, right? Hopefully, that plan helps you, but then to actually just take the action to make it happen. And then review it, right? Review it. Hopefully it's daily, but even just weekly at least, to be able to really see how are you making progress towards that and continue to see that. And again, it can be a challenge, it's not easy, but it's worth it, right? As you work towards those things. And, I'll just end with this, that it's super important, as like, this is something that I'm excited to be able to design something eventually that, that solves this problem. But the thing is, like, it was so much easier for me in this journey in the very beginning to make progress and to do it. Kind of like every year, like for a lot of people in January, it's like, okay, cool, I'm going to do all these things. And you feel so good and you're super excited about that end goal, about working towards it. And then a week or two in, or a month, like it's gone. Like a lot of people just give up, right? Like middle of February, most people are like done with their goals. They just like give up, which is so sad. But it's similar to like going to a conference. If you've ever been to a conference and had some amazing speakers there, and they just like pour into you and they tell you all these amazing stories, and you just feel so pumped and so excited. And then you get home, and within a week or so, you're like back to kind of how you were before. Right? And so that's something I really want to figure out, is how do you continue to have that fire? And one thing for me that has helped is to continue to daily think about, where are you going, right? Continue to remember that vision so you can't, you don't get distracted and you don't like forget, because I think that's a lot of it is, these speakers and events, they can really help you think about the future and where do you want to go. But I'm like, that's the thing that I wish you could bottle that up, right? So that you go to this conference, you come home, and then you have it with you until the next conference. You know what I mean? So anyways, we'll see if there's something we can figure out in that way, other than just like trying to remember it, thinking about it every day. Obviously that's cool too. But anyways, there's gotta be something there. But to me, that is a big part of it though too, is that sometimes you need that like emotion on in the inside to really know, like, okay, this is it. Like, I'm super passionate about getting to this place. And so that's what's going to get me going. That's what's going to get me started. And you just got to continue to take action. And so that's my challenge for you, is if you've already set up your dream life of know where you want to go, you have that plan, that it's all about taking action. Right now it's about taking action, actually putting in the hard work, and then, reviewing that progress. And that's something that, Brendan Burchard talks about, is that, if a lot of times people be confused by his response of telling people that they need to like be disciplined and actually like work and get things done. It's like, there are certain tactics, there are certain things that are key and are important, and your psychology is super important too. And the strategy that you're taking is really important as well. But at the same time, if you're not actually putting in the work and putting in the effort, then it really doesn't matter, right? So make sure you take action, make sure you continue to change and take progress towards your goals. And I know it can be difficult, but I know that you'll continue to find progress and be able to see success. And so I'm excited to hear about that. So definitely hit me up and let me know what type of things you're doing, what you're, working towards, because I'd love to hear about that and love to hear about, your progress as well. So until next time, I hope this has helped you to go big and go home. So peace out. Hey, it's Dustin, and I hope you got a lot of value out of this episode. And I also hope that you're already subscribed. If not, what are you waiting for? Go subscribe, rate, and review. That'll make sure that you get this content as soon as it comes out. And also make sure to share with your friends and family so that they can go big and go home just like you.